Right, um, so in a few of my other videos, I've sort of been sharing. I always say describing. I don't know whether that's the right word, but I've been sharing some of my experiences with you guys. And this one's really quite close. I mean, a lot of them have been super difficult saying. Like, it is well hard to share things that are so close to the burn. But I feel really conflicted, really conflicted at the moment. Because I've struggled with my mental health for since I was about 15, and I've had like quite a few I've had like quite a lot of counselling things. I've tried different things. I've sort of tired out the resources of what you can do to try and help yourself. And for a really long time, I've been waiting to be on the NHS counselling list. I don't know how to describe it really. Yeah. And then since I've been at uni, I've been out. So I started doing an online, basically. So I've been when I went to the doctors, probably about 2 years ago, a year ago now. I mean, like I've been going to different, like I said, I've been going to different types of counselling and that type of thing since I was younger. But I had a break from it. Nothing was working for me, and it frustrated me more than anything else, and upset me a lot more because I was, and it it still does, because like I'll explain. But yeah, so I've been waiting when I went to the doctors and in Liverpool, because my biggest struggle is my sleeping. I've got a I find it very difficult to sleep ever, and I have for a very long time. And unfortunately, after a while of, well, no, if you struggle with sleeping, and I'm sure absolutely everybody's struggled with sleeping before, to not have had a good night's sleep, or like a proper sleep, be able to sleep through for is since you're 15, I'm 22 now, is genuinely one of the hardest things ever. It's so tiring. I feel constantly tired and frustrated. I've got a I feel very anxious about bedtime when I'm by myself. And I very rarely sleep by myself ever. I either I'll sleep with my best friend Lauren a lot of the time. I sleep over at her house, I mean. Or I sleep with my friend, the girls who I live with, I sleep in their beds or whatever, or Callum's bed. But when I'm going to bed by myself, about an hour, like an hour and a half before or whatever, I'll get this flux of like anxious thoughts about when I've got to go to bed, because when I was younger, and when I was probably the most unwell I've been, the sleeping side of things was what was the hardest for me, because I'd lay in bed in this bedroom, because I'm at home in Huddersfield at the moment, and I would lay awake for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and then I'd have to go to school, and then I'd have to go to college, and when you've fallen asleep at 5 in the morning and you're going to bed at 1, and then you got to get up at 7, every day as a routine. I was so resentful of everything. I was so angry. I was resentful. My parents were not. They understood, I think, but I think obviously you've got to try and get your kid to go to school and college and that type of thing. I was so tired all the time. I was so angry. I was so rude to everyone. I was rude to my teachers. I was rude to my family. I was rude to my friends. I was just, I still don't sleep. I still can't fall asleep properly. But it is better. It's a lot better. But the sleeping side of things is what I struggle with the most, and that's why I go. That's why I've tried to go and sort this out a lot. And obviously, I think, well, I'm not sleeping because of the issues in the issues in my mind, my brain, makes me not sleep, and it's just this, and then the sleep makes the issues the lack of sleep, sorry, makes the issues worse, and it is obviously just this cycle of shit. And when I was younger, I just sort of ended up, before I went to uni, I literally just didn't give a fuck. I just absolutely just came to terms with the fact that I wasn't sleeping. I just got fucked all the time. Didn't give a shit. I really didn't. I never was at home. I was out all the time, and it became, obviously all of this was very interconnected, but the not sleeping started to be something that I just resented so much, but I just accepted it, and I wasn't arsed. I just thought, fuck it, if I can't sleep, I can't sleep. I'm never going to be able to, so what's even the point in trying to sort it out? And then, as I went to after a few months at university, I sort of came to terms with that I needed to sort of take a bit more responsibility for myself and try and make myself better, because that's what I deserve, to be able to be the person that I know I can be. So in in first year I went to the doctors. They gave me some sleeping tablets. Unfortunately, with the sleeping tablets that they gave me, it was a pack of 10, and you can only have so many until they sort of don't work in your system anymore, and they won't help you fall asleep. So I had them, and then obviously when they ran out, well, they did work, and then when they ran out, I was in a frenzy. I couldn't fucking sleep at all. It seemed so much more severe. Got another pack, blah blah blah, sort of cycle. And then I managed to make them last a really long time, actually. They almost became like this sort of safety zone of, like, the fact that I knew that I had them allowed me to be able to fall asleep a little bit easier. And just through sort of generally, I ended up, fell in love. And the person I fell in love with really helped me through the issues that I had for a while. And that did make me feel, well, I just felt a lot better in myself, and I was definitely on the mend type of thing. And then unfortunately, the sleeping habit just persisted, and it got worse again. So I've been on the waiting list for the doctors. Sorry. I've been on the waiting list for a one-to-one counsellor from the NHS, because I've paid, I've done volunteer, organisations, charity type of counselling things I've done. I don't know why, but I kind of think that I kind of thought that maybe the NHS counselling would, I don't know, help be more legit. I don't know why. Yeah. So anyway, I'm on this waiting list, and I did this online course for the past probably it was 9 months ago maybe. And I was doing this online course where you speak to a counsellor every 2 weeks, and during between those phone calls, you go through this online course. It's the CBT therapy. Is that what? Yeah, cultural behaviour. No, yeah, behaviour. Yeah. And it was alright, like, it was better than some things I've tried, definitely, but, like, I just could not connect, and it's weird, because, obviously, I connect to the screen a lot of the time, and I'm constantly working via online platforms or whatever, but I just couldn't get my head around this, and when I spoke to the lady on the phone, I think because of that disconnected, sort of communication, I just couldn't, it just didn't help me at all, so I asked her. I did it for a good 4 months-ish. And then I sort of mentioned to her, like, listen, this isn't working for me very well at all. Fucking laptop's overheating. And I basically was like, can you put me on the list for the one-to-one, like, face-to-face counselling? So she did, and I waited, and I've waited, and I've waited, and I've waited, and then last week I had my first one-to-one session, and, like, don't know, I felt like well disappointed, like, really just sad and disappointed after it, and I don't know why, but, like, I think it was just the setting. It was quite far away, so I had to go and I actually ended up getting a taxi there, but it was quite far. It's like a 35-minute drive. I got the train back and everything, and I kind of expected it to be a little bit different to the previous things that I've tried. But it was literally like a very small, white, claustrophobic room with 2 chairs in it, and, like, I don't know, I just, like, that immediately I was like, oh my god, like, this is gonna be horrendous, like, how do I even, like, fucking hell, just, like, it's very close. And in absolutely no way is this, like, in any offensive way at all, but my therapist is very, very young, and she, not that I at all think that she's, like, not qualified to do what she does, but because I felt like we were such a similar age, I felt so bizarre trying to communicate my issues to her, because it almost felt like we were just so close in age, like, well, I don't actually know how old she is, but she was sort of saying that she's like, this is like, not training, but, like, newish for her. So I know that she's quite young, and I don't know, I can't describe it. Because I don't want to sound like a dick. Like, I'm honestly not trying to, like, undermine her ability, because I'm sure that she's absolutely great, but, like, I just felt like I couldn't say to her so much that I was wanting to say, and I don't know, I just felt like I was, not that she was judging me at all, but, like, I felt like maybe she would, I don't know, I just really, really struggled with it. And I think because, I don't know, maybe I got this rose-tinted image in my head of, like, going and it being a really good start and thinking, oh shit, this might be the one, this might actually be the one that helps, because I swear, like, since I was, like, 15, maybe I thought, oh yeah, well, when it's through the NHS, it'll definitely help, because, like, blah, 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 I don't know why I thought that, but, yeah, I just feel well disappointed by it all, and I know I shouldn't, because I've literally been to one session, and I can't be dismissive, because I've waited for such a long time, and I really do need to try and put myself into this one as best as I can, as the best that I can, so I'll keep you updated with how that goes, but yeah, I just feel like, I don't know, I'm like a little bit apprehensive that it's just going to be the same as the others which haven't worked, and I don't know whether then that means it will work, because my brain's already fucking telling me that, fuck knows, I don't know, but I don't think that I can rely on sleeping tablets for very much longer, because I don't have many left, and I really don't know how many more they'll give me. And I thought, I don't know.